This is my post-match reaction to the Arsenal 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1 Premier League defeat for Spurs. Probably not a surprise that Tottenham have lost this one, but very frustrating. Mainly because we got 1-0 ahead and weren't able to keep hold of it for a few reasons. The referee getting involved, giving a corner when it shouldn't have been, but also just some naiveness from Spurs, which, of course, you would expect considering how many injuries Tottenham have, but also frustrating because I'll be honest with you, watching Arsenal play is just a frustrating, boring watch. I'm not going to deny it. They were better than Tottenham tonight. Of course they were. They had many more first-team players. They're further down with their project. They've got more rhythm in the team, but they're so boring and direct. And all of their players throughout just going to the crowd, come on, crowd. It's like, no, why don't you excite your crowd in a way where they will give you some organic atmosphere, some authentic atmosphere? It's just embarrassing. I find it embarrassing. I know it's easy for me to say. I'm not complaining about the defeat. I think certainly in terms of the first half, Arsenal deserved to win that game. In the second half, Spurs massively came into it, made some half chances. Arsenal also had some massive chances. And look, I can see their fans now. They're all dancing around. Gabriel's dancing around. But it's like, mate, you ain't winning nothing. You think you're the big ones. Arteta thinks they're the big ones. They thought if they could beat Man City, they'd win the league. They're not winning anything. They are dire. And it's got to that point with Arsenal where I think it's almost like Conte and Jose ball. It's like the moment they stop winning, or if they continue having a bit of a dodgy run like they have done recently, their fans, you can see why their fans have started to turn, because I was calling them set piece FC throughout the game. They really are just literally set piece FC. Raya just hikes it long. They try and get it into the corners and try and win corners. And of course, another goal scored from a corner today. But listen, I'll try not to talk about Arsenal anymore because this is obviously about Tottenham Hotspur. We just looked today like a team lacking rhythm, who were fatigued, especially in the first half. Props to Ange Postecoglou. At halftime, he brought on two players, made two changes. Maddison and Johnson came on for Bissouma and one other, and that changed the game for Spurs. We were able to put our foot on the ball a bit more, keep the ball in midfield a lot more, and really offer some threat to Arsenal there. And they were worried. And to be honest, with 11 men out, or 10 or 11 first-team squad members out, it was a decent performance. And listen, the way that Arsenal are dancing, like, all right, enjoy it. You're in second place, but you are honestly so poor. So poor. And Liverpool are so much better than them. And considering we played Liverpool last week, it was a joy to watch Liverpool. But compared to this lot, honestly. Anyway, I'll take you through kind of what happened in the match. I thought, I'll talk more about him as this post-match reaction goes along, but Lucas Bergvall, absolutely outstanding from the first minute. He made an interception in the first minute, and I said, great start for Bergvall. He's so good at reading the game, so good at intercepting passes. But then Arsenal really put the pressure on us in the first 15 minutes. Huge chance for Raheem Sterling in the second minute. He was in. Kinski dived at his feet, which really put him off, and the defenders managed to get to the second ball. Fifth minute, I've made a note, Arsenal pressing Spurs high up the pitch and into mistakes, and especially in that first half, but pretty much throughout the game, Tottenham really struggled to get out of their half. Arsenal's pressing is elite. They're smart with it. They know exactly where to put the pressure on. And when we've got, I'm not slagging off Dragusin. I think he had a decent game, but when you've got Dragusin in your back four and he hasn't got ball players around him, or certainly confident centre-back ball players around him, like Christian Romero, then he's going to struggle, and he did struggle. Sixth minute, Son was fouled twice in that first 6 minutes with his back to goal, neither of which were given by the referee, who certainly in that first half was just giving all the decisions to Arsenal. Seventh minute, I've written that Spurs were defending pretty much okay, but gave away a few naive free kicks in that first 10 minutes. Spence and Bergvall just kind of getting a little bit too excitable, but both had really good games, I think. 12th minute, huge chance for Arsenal, blocked in the box by Dragusin. Such a good box defender for the kind of the discredit I give him for his ball at his feet play. I will say, as a box defender, he's so good, clearing headers and getting blocks on the ball. Really excellent. 15th minute, where the ref was on our side of it, to be fair. Bergvall should have been booked for a late challenge, but he wasn't. I felt like that was probably because it was too early in the game. If it was later in the game, I think Bergvall would have been booked for that. And then 16th minute, I've made a note. Kinski came for free kicks. He came for free kicks and corners all first half. He was really excellent at that. But he did make a mistake 17th minute, similar to that mistake Alisson made against Spurs a week or so ago, when he just took too much time on the ball on his left foot. He was pressed by Havertz, but he did well to get up and save the second ball. And then in the 18th minute, again, punching a corner away again, Kinski was impressed with him. I'll get on to what could be deemed to be a mistake from him later on in this half, though. Some brilliant play from Spence down the left in the 21st minute, drove down the left-hand side, and then an outside of the boot cross that was so brilliant, like properly elite. And Solanke was going to tap it in, but Gabriel, who was man of the match, got his foot there. Great defending. 23rd minute, Arsenal had a chance at the back post for Trossard. But then Kinski had it in his arms. A quick break for Pape Matar, who gave it to Decky Kulusevski, who gave it back to Sarr, got to the byline, the cross was blocked, and then it was that corner that led to Sonny's goal. They took it short and then got it in the box, cleared out by Arsenal, and then Sonny did really well on the edge of the box to keep his shot down, side-footed it, deflected in off Saliba. 26th minute, Pape Matar was booked for delaying the restart, a bit naive, but he was complaining about a foul given against Archie Gray when Havertz was clearly backing into Gray. Poor refereeing again. 29th minute, Porro easily turned by Trossard, far too easy. Looked like Porro might have got a bit injured there, but he played on. Dragusin again cleared away the cross from Trossard. Kulusevski did not have his greatest game today. And in the 32nd minute, there were two mistakes from him within about 15 seconds that really showed it. He didn't hold the ball up on the halfway line. It actually wasn't halfway line. It was in Arsenal's half when Dragusin had driven with the ball really well, given it to Kulusevski. And the only thing that Kulusevski couldn't do in that situation was lose the ball because Dragusin had ran outside him, but he did lose the ball. And then to give credit to Kulusevski, he did try and chase it back, but he tried too hard and he gave away a stupid foul just outside the box. But brilliant. Kinski came and punched the corner away or the free kick away. 36th minute, brilliant strength from Spence, who had Sterling in his pocket throughout the game, and Sterling was subbed pretty early as a result. 38th minute, a studs up tackle came in on Pape Matar, wasn't even given as a foul. Really bad reffing as far as I'm concerned, really bad. And 1 minute later, Gabriel got the goal. It wasn't a corner. Porro cleared the ball off Trossard, should have been a Spurs goal kick. Of course, it's a corner, set piece FC. Bender a deep one over the top of Kinski, who's blocked off by his own man, Pape Sarr. And Gabriel heads it in, gets man of the match. But his defensive display was brilliant, but he got the goal as well. But terrible refereeing. And on such things, games turn. And that's exactly what happened. Havertz got booked in the 42nd minute for a foul on Dragusin. And then the second goal, Trossard himself, 43rd minute. All started because Bergvall made a run that was... He's had his shirt pulled back, didn't get seen by the ref. Then Bissouma, unfortunately, had his worst moment, and probably why he was taken off at half-time, actually. Lost the ball in midfield when he was surrounded by about 3 Arsenal players. They broke forward. Trossard got the ball on the left-hand side, hits it well, finishes it into the far corner, and it took a bit of a bobble over Kinski's hand, and some of the co-commentators suggesting that maybe Kinski should have saved it. Perhaps he could have gone with 2 hands, but maybe if he'd gone with 2 hands, he wouldn't have got there anyway. So he went with 1 hand, and it just took a bobble over his hand. I'm not blaming him for that, but, let us know in the comments what you think. Then there were 4 minutes of added time, during which Spence had a brilliant tackle and was away on the transition, and the ref gave it as a foul. He got the ball and he gave it as a foul. Totally ridiculous. Then at halftime, as I mentioned, Johnson and Maddison came on for Sarr and Bissouma, and it really did help us in that second half. Porro had a shot blocked. Porro did block a shot in the 46th minute after Spurs were caught ahead of the ball. 49th minute, Spurs looking better already on the ball. Sonny had a shot with his left foot that hit his own man. Solanke stopped it from... it probably wasn't going in anyway. Raya would have made the save. Good football from Spurs in the 50th minute. Got Madders to the byline. The cross went into Raya's arms. Then very quickly after, we got another winning of the ball up high. But again, a cross went into Raya's arms. 51st minute, embarrassing from Kai Havertz going down when barely touched from Archie Gray. Arsenal just the absolute kings of the dark arts and professional fouls. Really embarrassing. Then 52nd minute, Havertz had a chance at the near post, should have scored with his head from a corner, headed it wide. 55th minute, another free header for Havertz, straight at Kinski this time. 56th minute, Bergvall with some brilliant defensive play to stop a goal as we lost the ball in our third again too easily, but he chased back to get his body in the way. Then 57th minute, shot from Johnson block. Spurs definitely better on the ball, but also I've written losing the ball in their own third too easily. 59th minute, Trossard dived on the floor after Spurs let the ball bounce from high in their own box. There were too many occasions that really showed me how Tottenham are just really missing their centre-halves, where we don't know when to come for the ball in that centre-back department. And you can't really blame Archie Gray for it because he's not a centre-back, but we're just letting the ball bounce too many times. 60th minute, Sterling came off for Martinelli. I've written here Decky Kulusevski being out-muscled too often. He looked tired today, Kulusevski, I thought. 61st minute, some brilliant play from Kinski under pressure, just back-heeled it to Jed Spence on the left. Fantastic stuff. Madders' chance of a shot in the box in the 65th minute, but he had to kind of toe poke it in the end as the ball got caught under his feet. Disappointing. But Spurs getting into the box far more regularly in that second half. Then in the 72nd minute, a big chance for Spurs, followed by 2 huge chances for Arsenal. Solanke had a shot blocked in the box, but then Arsenal came straight back at us, had a shot that was hit well, kind of saved with his body by Kinski, just kind of stood up and shouldered it away, and then another decent save down to his right from a shot straight after from Kinski. 74th minute, I made another note. Bergvall, best player on the park for Spurs, reading the game so well. What a young player we have on our hands. Ødegaard had a good game for Arsenal, but Bergvall reminds me of a young Ødegaard. And when he gets more up the hierarchy in the Spurs squad and is trusted more by the players, he will become more creative attacking-wise. But he really showed his defensive side today as well. 75th minute, 2 huge blocks from Bergvall, again after Spence lost the ball in his own third. But he was given a horrible pass with four Arsenal players around him, Jed Spence. 76th minute, Cherney on for Trossard, a defensive move for Arsenal. Son off for Richarlison in the 77th minute. 78th minute, Bergvall was in a good position in the box, but for some reason turned away and gave it back to Porro, who made a bad pass off the pitch. Don't know why he turned away there, Bergvall. Just a kind of little example, I guess, of how him not trusting his creativity enough, but he was brilliant, like I said, back and forth today. 79th minute, great ball from Rishi. Spence got in down the left, and Rishi played the ball into him. But it was good defending, out for a throw from Arsenal. Arsenal did defend well all day, to be fair to them. 83rd minute, cross from Madders over Raya, but he did well to claim it one-handed. Huge chance for Ødegaard, 84th minute, put it wide. Rishi then got forward and a great cross blocked by Gabriel just before Solanke got there, making a run across the near post. It was like that kind of for Spurs all game. These little kind of quarter half chances, but Gabriel and Saliba, frankly, 2 of the best defenders in the league and a great partnership. Just too much for our kind of makeshift forward line. 85th minute, Lewis Skelly kicked Bergvall when a corner was about to be taken, but of course the referee gave nothing. Some subs for Arsenal, 86th minute, and then just in the 5th minute of added time, Solanke with an overhead kick went wide, and Porro just kind of with the last kick of the game got in a position out wide where he should be crossing it across the box, but he thought, fuck it, hit the ball into the near post, and Raya would have been struggling to hit the outside of the post. That would have been a moment in time for Spurs. In terms of like player ratings, I'll say Kinski probably 6.5, 7. You know, some argument that maybe he shouldn't have allowed himself to be blocked off for the corner, but it wasn't his fault. Sarr was in the way, and could he have got something on the goal from Trossard? But I think not. It bobbled over his hand. But all of his bravery on the ball and distribution and everything, I was very impressed with. I like him, so I'm going to go 7 out of 10. Porro, I'll give a kind of 6. I thought he was okay. Obviously knackered. Archie Gray, I'll give a 6.5. Dragoshin, I'll give a 6.5. Jed Spence, I'm going to give a 7.5. I thought he was excellent all game, out of position, really excellent. Bissouma, I'm going to have to give a 5 because of his mistake leading to the goal. Who else have we got in midfield? Pape Madassar got taken off at halftime. I'll give him a 5 as well. And then Lucas Bergvall, I'm going to give man of the match. I'm going to give an 8. And then Sonny on the left got a goal, so I'll give him a 7. Solanke, no chances given to him really at all, but he worked hard, so I'll give him a 6.5. And like I said, Kulusevski, one of his poorer games, so I'm going to have to give him a 5.5 out of 10. I won't give the subs really things. Well, actually, let's say Madders, I think maybe a 6.5 for Madders. And Richarlison, I thought looked decent when he came on. I'll give him a 6.5. Johnson, probably a 6. Anyway, guys, that has been the post-match reaction show. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do give the video a like and do press subscribe. Really appreciate you watching this. Cheers.